The banking group expects OPEC to roll over the existing agreement struck at the end of 2018, she added. The cartel and its oil producer nation allies opted in December to trim daily crude output by 1.2 million barrels owing to abundant world supplies. That reduction contributed to oil prices soaring by almost one-third in the first quarter of 2019, with European benchmark contract Brent crude currently trading at just under $66 per barrel, up 7% since the last meeting. Oil futures have jumped in recent weeks also on the US-China trade war, but mainly owing to the fast-developing crisis between Tehran and Washington. OPEC's meeting comes against a background of ample global crude supplies, according to both the cartel and International Energy Agency. The Paris-based IEA watchdog has cut its forecast for 2019 oil demand growth for a second straight month and has trimmed also its second quarter forecast. OPEC's biggest producer Saudi Arabia meanwhile argues that oil supplies are sufficient, pointing to rising stockpiles despite significant output reduction in sanctions hit Iran and Venezuela, both members of the cartel. The Islamic Republic and Latin American nation will in particular be looking to preserve their precious oil revenues, which would no doubt be hit by any increase in OPEC's overall output. At the same time, the cartel is mindful of how sudden sharp increases in oil prices can crimp economic growth, in turn hitting crude demand. Global oil prices began a sharp ascent earlier this month following attacks on two tankers in the Gulf of Oman. They jumped further after Washington blamed Tehran for a second spate of such incidents close to the strategic Strait of Hormuz shipping lane. Oil prices rallied even more after Iran shot down a U.S. spy drone and U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly xed retaliatory strikes against Tehran at the last minute. The unrest in the Gulf meanwhile resulted in OPEC delaying its regular meeting several times. Bjarne Schieldrop, analyst at Swedish bank SEB, cautioned that the cartel did not want to risk a repeat of last year's price slump. "Do not repeat that mistake," is the primary view of OPEC members. Bulletin 0R RFJ/BCP/JH/ROX